Lesson 2-8, solve two-step equations. So in this video, we're going to go through reviewing some of the properties of equality, but using multiple steps to solve for the variable. So we're going to isolate the variable by using inverse operations. Just remember that adding and subtracting are inverses, and division and multiplication are also inverses of each other. And if you're going to use the multiplication property of equality, you're going to use that with division. So that's going to be that'll be one of the last steps that you're going to do if you have to do if they already have like a division problem with a variable, you're going to use the multiplication property of equality. So let's take a look at an example. Before we get to the example, let's look at how we're going to solve these multi-steps. So the first thing you have to do is make sure that you combine like terms on each side of the equal sign. Once you do that, you're going to use the inverse operations, and you're going to use addition and subtraction first. So you have to think, I have to use the opposite of PEMDAS. So normally you do multiplication and division first, but for solving for a variable, you use adding and subtracting first. And then your final step would be to multiply or divide to get the variable completely by itself. So now let's look at our first example. Isabel has $15 to spend at the amusement park. Admission is $3 and ride tickets are $2 each. How many ride tickets can Isabel buy? So the first thing we have to do is come up with our equation. Well, she has $15, and with those $15, we need to determine how much can she spend. Well, she can spend $3 to get in, plus she has to spend $2 for each ticket she has. So I'm going to use X for the number of tickets she can get. So our equation is 15 equals 3 plus 2x. Now I want to get 2x by itself. So the opposite of adding 3 is subtracting 3. So I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides, and I'm left with 12 equaling 2x. Now the opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. So I'm using the division property of equality. And I do that on both sides, and x is going to equal 6. So that means she can have 6 tickets. Next, here solve the following equations. Again, here I need to do the opposite of subtracting 16, which is adding 16. I'm doing that on both sides. And I'm left with 6x equaling 24. And the opposite of multiplying by 6 is dividing by 6, so I do that on both sides. X is going to equal 24 divided by 6 is going to give us 4. Next, I have 3 minus x divided by 9 equals 1. So the opposite of adding 3 is subtracting 3. Now you always have to look, there's no sign in front of the 3, so that means it's a positive, and the opposite of a positive is a negative. So I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides, and I'm left with a negative x over 9 equals negative 2. Now I'm going to make this, I'm going to put the negative here with the 9. It doesn't matter which one you do that you put it with. It's still going to work out at the end. But I'm going to put it with the 9 so that I can just do it all in one step. So the opposite of dividing by negative 9 is multiplying by negative 9. The x is by itself. I have to multiply by negative 9 on the right-hand side. X is going to equal a positive 18. And I can always check my answer. If I did 18 divided by 9, 18 divided by 9 is 2, so 3 minus 2 does give me 1. Next, 54 divided by x equals 6. Here I'm going to multiply by x to get it out of the denominator because you never want the variable in the denominator. So now I have 54 equals 6 times x. And then the opposite of multiplying by 6 is dividing by 6. And x is going to equal 54 divided by 6 is 9. Next one, the opposite of subtracting 12 is adding 12. So you always want to start on the side that has the variable on it. So now I have negative 7x equaling 16 plus 12 is 28. The opposite of multiplying by negative 7 is divide by negative 7. X is going to equal a negative 4. couple other examples here. Here we want to get n divided by 3 by itself, so the opposite of adding 9 is subtracting 9. You do that on both sides, and now I'm left with n divided by 3 equaling 3. The opposite of multiplying or dividing by 3 is multiplying by 3. N is going to equal 9. Next, I have 21 equals 8x plus 5. The opposite of adding 5 is subtracting 5. And that gives us 16 equaling 8x. Opposite of multiplying by 8 is dividing by 8. Divide both sides by 8, and 16 divided by 8 is 2. Next, I have 63 divided by x equals 9. To get rid of the denominator, multiply this side by x, multiply the other side by x, and we're left with 63 equals 9x. The opposite of multiplying by 9 is divide by 9. X is going to equal 7. And our last one on this page, we have subtracting 10 on both sides. Gives us 24 equals 4c. The opposite of multiplying by 4 is divide by 4. And c is going to equal 6. And our last slide here, a couple other problems. Here, opposite of subtracting 6 is adding 6. So again, I'm always doing it on the same side. T divided by -2 equals positive 5. The opposite of dividing by -2 is multiplying by -2. T is going to equal a -10. And the last one, are these two equations the same? So I want to simplify each one. So if I multiply this by x and this by x, I'm left with 54 equals 6x divided by 6. X is going to equal 9. And over here, I would multiply the same thing by x on both sides, and you're left with 54 equals 6x divided by 6. 54 divided by 6, x equals 9. They are the same. They just look a little bit different, but having 54 divided by x is the same thing as saying 54 times 1 over x. Because if you did 54 times 1, there's your 54 divided by your x. So just know that they can be written two different ways, but they mean the same thing. So that's our lesson on solving two-step equations.